Devastating as this for this country during that long, cold twilight that we faced down communism in Moscow with its considerable nuclear arsenal, which it still has in place, obviously.
You know, Tom, it's a very important point because all during this past few weeks, the debate about missile defense systems
were the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. In that debris, there may very well be some people alive at this moment. Efforts are being made to determine that. Authorities have been trying to evacuate those who work in this whole area of the Twin Towers. Many people are thought to have been trapped. About 50,000 people work at the Trade Center. American Airlines said that its two aircraft known to have been hijacked were carrying a total of 156 people. Fate of those people unknown, but one has to believe that many, if not all of them, are dead.
North Tower, Peter.
Let's look at the North Tower quickly,
seems to be coming down.
Oh my God.
The second tower.
It's hard to put it into words anymore because that's not a live picture anymore. Good Lord, it just... Monitors the city and all its vulnerable points said when this whole thing began this morning they could not get an immediate handle on precisely what was happening. And it was only... You've seen this before. This is a recording of precisely what happened when the second tower went down. And this is from a very long distance. This camera is located on the edge of the Hudson River on the West Side Drive, up the western side of Manhattan. And
that melted the steel. As it melted the steel, shell or frame, the floors collapsed, each on the other, and down they came into rubble. 1,600 degrees or even more, that melted the steel. As it melted the steel, shell or frame,
After that, the second tower just collapsing into a pile of rubble.
Here's the AP lead out of New York. In a horrific sequence of destruction, terrorists crashed.
After that, the second tower just collapsing into a pile of rubble. After that, the second tower just collapsing into a pile of rubble.
Manhattan, where there is a great deal of activity every day. There are trading rooms. There is, as we said, an exchange. Commodities are traded there. It's an environment where now there is a great deal of activity every day. There are trading rooms. There is, as we said, an exchange. Commodities are traded there. To the economy are being questioned and analyzed all around the world this evening, Matt.
And of course we've heard that the markets here in this country were closed today. We've been told they'll be closed again tomorrow. I mean, how long can we expect them to be shut down until they can get up and running again?
Well, there are so many sensitive issues to be dealt with, not the least of which will be security for the participants in those marketplaces downtown, the New York Stock Exchange being the principal exchange in Lower Manhattan. It is likely, one would assume, that because of the worry that disrupting the financial markets could be worse than letting them open up and respond to the situation that tomorrow may be the only day on which the various exchanges are closed. That remains to be questioned and analyzed all around the world this evening, Matt.
And of course, we've heard that the markets here in this country were closed today. We've been told they'll be closed again tomorrow.
Exactly.
I mean, how long can we expect them to be shut down until they can get up and running again?
Well, there are so many sensitive issues to be dealt with, not the least of which will be security for the participants in those marketplaces downtown, the New York Stock Exchange being the principal exchange in Lower Manhattan. It is likely, one would assume, that because of the worry that disrupting the financial markets could be worse than letting them open up and respond to the situation, that tomorrow may be the only day on which the various exchanges are closed. That remains to be...
Was literally sheaved off, and it took probably about another 30 seconds before the skeleton collapsed into the street. That was the last we saw of the World Trade Center, and that was maybe 10 minutes ago when that final skeleton, the metal skeleton, steel skeleton, collapsed into the street.
That was NBC's Pat Dawson again. He's standing about 10 blocks from where the World Trade Center towers used to stand.
Another 30 seconds before the skeleton collapsed into the street. That was the last we saw of the World Trade Center, and that was maybe 10 minutes ago when that final skeleton, the metal skeleton, steel skeleton, collapsed into the street.
In that kind of collapse of steel, concrete, electrical circuitry, and glass, it created a kind of tornado effect in the canyons of Manhattan. A number of the NBC News correspondents were trapped, many of them in grave danger, as well as a lot of rescue.
Notwithstanding tower number 1, we saw some kind of explosion, a lot of smoke come out of the top of the tower, and then it collapsed down onto the streets below, much like we saw the first tower just about a half hour ago.
I hope I live. It's coming down on me. Here it comes. I'm getting behind a car.
Get out of here!
Give him in. Give him in. You can watch. You can film it. You can. Make a hole! Make a fucking hole! Make a fucking hole!
We even saw airplane chairs, over the place. That was
really?
Unusual, yes.
At 10:30, I tried to leave the building, but as soon as I got outside, I heard a second explosion and another rumble and more smoke and more dust. I ran inside the buildings, the chandelier shook, and again, black smoke filled the air. Within another 5 minutes, we were covered again with more silt and more dust. And then a fire marshal came in and said we had to leave because if there was a third explosion, this building might not last. And all I could think of was just to get away from there, to get to safety. And as I kept walking to Canal Street, I could hear yet another explosion behind me. It was truly one of the most frightening moments I've ever lived through.
street, and I picked up the camera just out of habit. And something in the back of my mind said, run, run, run. And never in 20 years of shooting in New York have I run from an assignment. But something in the back of my head just said, run. And as I hit the corner of Liberty Street, it was almost being picked up by a tornado, almost being picked up by a wave. It was like being picked up
with the black cloud.
That black cloud had substance. It was like night, but it had a solid feel to it. It was like gravel, hot gravel, and just picked me up and tossed me about a block. At one second I was running, and the next second I was airborne. And I lost my glasses, I lost my cell phone, I lost my pager, but managed to hold on to both cameras.
But it threw you for a block?
I was back down at Ground Zero last week and walked the area where I have a pretty good recollection of where I was and where I wound up. And it was just under a city block.
There was this blast of warm air. It wasn't hot. It was warm. And it picked me up and threw me up against the wall of the building I was...
You were picked up off the ground?
Physically picked up off the ground.
What's happening with weather conditions around the nation? We start with the high temperatures for today. It is going to be a warm one in the south, but these temperatures are pretty much seasonable for most of the nation. 70s in the upper Midwest. We'll see some 80s throughout much of the U.S. Desert Southwest, of course, over 100 degrees again. Take a look at the highlights for today. New York City, beautiful day here. 80 degrees today. St. Louis, 83. Albuquerque, you're looking at 87. San Diego, a pleasant 74. Where will we see rain? We'll see some scattered showers in portions of the west. Most of the west will be dry. Look for possible flooding in southern Texas, central and southern Florida, where the rain will be heavy. That's a look at what's happening with the weather around the nation. Now, here's what's happening in your neighborhood.
Good morning. Certainly no rain here. Nothing but dry skies. Next chance for rain not even until Thursday afternoon with a slight chance of a shower. Today and tomorrow mostly sunny, highs in the upper 70s and low 80s. Thursday could see a slight chance of a shower and then smooth sailing once again.
All right, thank you, Marta. 67 degrees. We've warmed up 3 in the last hour, but it's still cooler than it was yesterday. Yesterday it was 75. Northwest wind at 9. They will remain out of the northwest and north throughout the day today and tomorrow. That means humidity level, look at this, 73%. It was up to about 88% early this morning, so that's going to continue to fall. Gorgeous weather today and for the next several days. Rain yesterday afternoon, now well offshore, just a little bit making its way off the Outer Banks. No rain today or tomorrow. Cloud cover, too, with that cold front is making its way offshore, too. So we're going to have just a beautiful day today. This is a real cold front, folks. That means it's a boundary line of the very cool, dry air, and it is going to make its way well offshore, help to push Hurricane Erin up to the north. It's not going to affect us at all, but high pressure. And this is just the beginning because another cold front moves in Thursday night, could trigger a round of shower activity, but drops the temperatures even more. Just gorgeous for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Low 70s. The average high is 82. We're not going to have it for about the next 5 to 7 days. Michael, over.
The country, kids, on this Tuesday, the night of the Latin Grammys. Sunny skies down through Texas, all the way from the bottom of Texas to the top of North Dakota. Little rain to the right of North Dakota. Parts of North Dakota may see a little rain. To the west of the country, no problem. To the east in the country, no problems except down in Florida, a little rain. Northeast, we'll see little rough seas along the New England coastline from that hurricane that's going away. Miles and miles of sunshine. Miles Davis. We're going to put Miles out there today. Nice as it can be across the Northeast. Rough seas still from the chop from that hurricane, but other than that, it's kind of quiet around the country. We like quiet. It's quiet. It's too quiet. That's a quick look at the national forecast. Here's an early look at your weather.
Hi, everybody. I'm Hillary Howard. It is beautiful outside. Perfect September day with lots of sunshine. Oh, would you look at Washington, huh? I'm going outside today. Anyway, we're going to have a pretty day. Temperatures will be 77 to 82 degrees. Obviously, in the higher elevations, it'll be just a little cooler. And then same thing tonight. Tonight, we'll see a wide disparity in terms of temperatures. 48 in the higher elevations, 60 down along the water. 7-day outlook looks sunny and dry, getting up to 81 today.
That's what it would look like. Much better. Let's check your weather, see what's going on. For today, we've got a lot of cool weather in the northern states. We've got some hot weather continuing in the southwest and 80s as you get into the southeast with a lot of rain, up to 7 inches of rain in parts of Florida. Partly sunny in the Pacific Northwest. Seattle today, sunshine and 75. Sunny in the northeast and low humidity. Speaking of hair, what's the deal here?
Charles Worthington's big hair, girl.
Well, there you go. You certainly are. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Well, we've had a fresh, cool, dry air mass move in overnight. Good morning. I'm meteorologist Tom Kierine. We're up to 67 degrees here in Northwest and comfortably dry with a nice breeze coming in about 5 to 10 this morning. It may get a little gusty this afternoon, maybe 10 to 20 miles an hour with bright sunshine, highs reaching the low 80s. And we've got a cool evening on tap tonight. Ought to be widespread 50s for lows. And during the day tomorrow, the upper 70s for highs. Then Thursday, partly sunny. Could have a passing shower Thursday evening. Otherwise, dry weather all the way into the weekend.